one of the speakers at CPAC over the weekend was Caitlyn Jenner, a longtime Republican who's also transgender, as we all know. And so I was curious how she would be treated at this conference, and what I had predicted would happen did in fact happen. She was chased down by a troll who said incredibly demeaning and disgusting things to her. So I feel no pleasure in showing you this video, but there's a point in sharing it with you. So here's what happened to Caitlyn Jenner during the conference.
Excuse me, Bruce. I don't want to picture Bruce. Bruce, what do you think about the stuff that they're teaching in the schools?
There we go.
Hey, Bruce. Bruce,
here we go.
What do you think about the stuff that they're teaching in schools regarding the LGBTQ? About Jesus Christ, Bruce. Don't forget about Jesus. Look at that sick freak.
Look at that sick freak. And for anyone who's followed the conservative discourse on transgender rights in America, that shouldn't have been surprising at all. It's absolutely horrific treatment of anyone. Obviously, this person just insists on calling Caitlyn Jenner Bruce, which was Caitlyn's name before the transition. And there's another twist to this story involving Tomi Lahren, of all people, defending Caitlyn Jenner, which we'll get to in just a second. But Cenk, did you want to jump in and comment on that?
Yeah, poor Caitlyn. She just wanted the tax cuts and thought she could live with the hate. I mean, hey, that's your call, right? So you chose to go into a vest of Nipers, and that's
a vest of Nipers, okay.
That is a fascinating thing, whatever that is. Nest of vipers is, of course, what I meant. Sometimes it malfunctions. Okay, so and you chose the party of hate. They're running political campaigns against transgender people right now as we speak. Trump did it. He tried to ban transgender people from the military. Biden reversed that, and they did the bathroom demagoguing. Now they're doing the bathrooms and the high school athletes demagoguing and hate. In the beginning it was a Southern strategy. They hated black people. Then in 2004 it was gay marriage. We hate gay people. Now it's transgender. Hate. So that's the least surprising clip we've ever shown you on TYT. Of course, there's people like that. By the way, of course, none of them have ever read the Bible. Jesus said nothing about transgender people, and he also said nothing about gay people. And he helped the needy and the poor. And I'm not a Christian, but the Jesus in the Bible, generally speaking, was a very loving person, right? And they've turned him into an evil character, a villain, right? And so, but Caitlyn, on the other hand, tax cuts. So, I hate to see that. It's a gross thing to see. On the other hand, I have zero sympathy for Caitlyn Jenner. Zero, none. You chose to be with those bastards. Enjoy.
It reminds me of a different situation, although this is lower profile. The exchange that Dave Rubin had with Ben Shapiro regarding, celebrating his gay marriage. He asked Ben Shapiro straight up on his own show, you wouldn't come to a celebration of my relationship, my same-sex relationship? And Ben Shapiro just straight out said no. I mean,
yeah, it was an open-handed slap. What are you gonna do, boy?
It was.
And he went back and kissed Ben Shapiro's ass.
Exactly, and so it's, I don't know, man. I just think the desire to strike it rich, and how for some people it overwhelms every other part of their lives, including their own identity, right? It's just amazing. And in this case with Caitlyn Jenner, it's even worse because Caitlyn Jenner's already insanely rich. She just doesn't want to pay more in taxes.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
Look, I feel like Dave and Caitlyn are in different categories though, because when Dave left here, he was not wealthy, okay? And so he found himself a grift, and it's the grift that keeps on giving. Hey, I'm gay, but the right wing's right about everything. You wanna take a cupcake and smash it in my face? I'll do it, I'm a clown for hire, right? So that's Dave Rubin, and I get it, and everybody knows the act now, and it's super humiliating and embarrassing.
Right.
But Caitlyn is worse, because she's actively going to support a party that runs on transgender hate specifically now.
Yes.
That's their #1 go-to move. And she's going in there going, I love Republicans, go hate my people. But on top of that, she was already obscenely wealthy.
Yes.
At least Dave had to find a grift like others that leave TYT to try to survive and thrive, right? And they have. Caitlyn was obscenely wealthy. You didn't need the extra goddamn tax cuts but you can't help your greed. So I think she's definitely worse than Rubin.
Yeah, and also worse in that, fairly recently, because she's running for governor of California, it's not gonna happen, but she was asked by conservatives what she thinks about gay athletes being able to compete in the gender that they identify with, and she spoke out against it because she's got to play that game to appeal to right-wing voters, and it's just sick. Now, the second element to this story is Tomi Lahren coming to Caitlyn Jenner's rescue, which I didn't see coming because she's got a long track record of saying heinous things about the LGBTQ community, right? Especially transgender people. And so in response to that heckling that we just watched, Lahren said, hearing how some conservatives treated Caitlyn Jenner at CPAC makes my blood boil. There's no room for your hate in the America First movement. We believe
the whole movement's built on hate.
We believe in freedom. Except if you're transgender, we don't want you to have the same freedoms that everyone else has. And we believe in limited government. The way she chooses to live her personal life harms you in no way. But again, I just want to double down on what I said earlier. She's got a long track record in saying terrible things about the transgender community. Here's some examples. By the way, she did double down on her statements again in another tweet. We don't need to go to that, but let's go to the fact that given her long track record, she deserves no cookies, none. No cookies for you, I'm sorry. Here are Tomi Lahren's thoughts on the Gay Pride Parade, for instance. And the Gay Pride Parade had some messaging that was against the Trump administration. She didn't like it. Here's how she responded to it.
Hi, I'm Tomi, and I have a few final thoughts on your Gay Pride replacement #Resist March. What a crock of crap this is. So they replaced their traditional gay march for a Resist March, not to really celebrate anything or empower anyone, but gather in the streets and bitch about an election they still can't accept. Hey, resistors, you are so blinded by your Hollywood elitism and pop culture glorified lifestyle, you've abandoned any sense of reason or purpose and transformed what has been a celebratory parade into a crybaby fest of bull. Congratulations.
More recently, she spoke out against trans students in sports. She wrote, funny how it's all about the science argument. Funny how it's all about the science argument doesn't apply to transgender men competing in women's sports. She also defended Trump's military ban on trans soldiers, saying that libs want to put up an actual argument as to why transgenders should serve. It's the nice thing to do, or you're mean doesn't cut it. And here's one more. The military is not a social experiment. Finally, a president of the United States who understands the concept political correctness equals intellectual dishonesty.
Is that for a great ending? Intellectual dishonesty, you say? I support Donald Trump because that's where I'm getting all my money is from Trump fans. Transgender people suck. They don't belong in the military. They don't belong anywhere, right? Oh, Caitlyn Jenner's making some money. What's up? What's up? It's not all about anything but the Benjamins. Okay, so now she's like, oh, I got a new grift. The new grift is with being pro-transgender. I cannot believe. I mean, did you see the indignant nature of that tweet?
I know.
I cannot believe that people in the America First movement, built on racism in the first place, are now being hateful against transgender people when I was just doing it yesterday.
I mean, what's next? Is she gonna defend flight attendants now after calling them Nazis of the sky?
Probably, depends on where the money is.
Maybe.
Right? So every one of these guys is a scammer, but I wanna say one more thing. She mentioned limited government there, right? Oh, now America First is all about limited government. That's why we are in the business of regulating girls' high school track teams. You, Jenny, you're not allowed to go there. Susie, you're in there. You say I'm for limited government, okay? Tell me all of your teams at the high school level and I'm gonna regulate all of them with a microscope. And whoa, bathrooms. You used to just go into any bathroom you like because you believed in freedom, right? Not any bathroom you like, but the bathrooms that you chose based on your identity. Nope, I'm gonna regulate now. You're not allowed to have sex with that person. You're not allowed to go into that bathroom. You're not allowed to have sex in this way. Remember, this is the party that tried to ban oral sex, and that was not that long ago. It was Ken Cuccinelli. He was in the Trump administration. He tried to do it when he was lieutenant governor of Virginia, and then people were like, oh, it's awkward, but sodomy also means oral sex, and straight people also do it. You're now the most unpopular person in Virginia.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I would regret not sharing one more video featuring Tomi Lahren and her thoughts about transgender people. Here she is sharing her thoughts on Chelsea Manning.
So let me make this crystal clear. The United States military is not and never should be a social experiment. All right, again, a little louder for the social justice warriors and one Chelsea Bradley Manning. The United States military isn't about feelings. It's not about coloring outside the lines or participation trophies. It's about service and sacrifice, and anyone selfish enough to let their emotions or gender dysphoria get in the way of their service, the safety of their fellow warriors, or their country is 100% a traitor and should be treated as such. We're talking about the Chelsea Bradley Manning here. You know, the one who was convicted of espionage for leaking national security secrets and took advantage of taxpayer-funded hormone treatments in prison? Yeah, him, or I guess her now.
Yeah, so I would argue that defending Caitlyn Jenner from awful conservative hecklers is a good thing to do, but does she deserve any cookies? Or should we keep the cookies for ourselves? I think we keep the cookies.
I wouldn't give her the stalest cookie I've ever seen. So look, guys, there's nothing wrong with changing your mind as long as you're clear about it.
Right.
But she never said she changed her mind. She went from one day going, can you believe these transgender people? Okay, I'm gonna call them the wrong name. I don't care. The next day, like, oh, Caitlyn Jenner's hot. Okay, we're chasing hot, right? Okay. Oh, I'm sickened by people who won't even call them by their actual name. This is just an outrage. I am aflutter about it. Quick correction, Ken Cuccinelli was the Attorney General of Virginia, not the Lieutenant Governor. We actually care about facts. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.